Empty coffee cup. Hey, Pastor Chris here. Welcome to Poolside Chat. You know, I've struggled what to say today. Remember, we are in Jude, but with the murder of Charlie Kirk, I've gotten too much conversation to wait once a week. You know, so Charlie Kirk again. There's a story that was coming to mind as we were preparing for this. I think most of you know by now that I serve as a fire chaplain with Pasco County Fire Rescue, in addition to some other endeavors. There was a fire captain that I know up there, now a fire chief, and we were talking, I don't forget what we were talking about, but it was in reference to these horribly gruesome scenes that you see as firefighters, fire rescue. Some are just awfully horrendous. And sometimes the person is beyond saving. So the firefighter, paramedic will have to go in and pronounce them dead. And this particular captain, this a couple years ago, was telling me once the paramedic pronounces that person dead, he will not let the rest of his crew go in there. And he said, because you do not need these pictures and images in your head for the rest of your life. You will have your turn, but you don't need to see this. I thought it was really wise what he said. I thought it was very smart. And the reason I bring this up is when Charlie Kirk got shot, the videos and images of his murder were right there on the internet for everyone to see. Thankfully, and I've said this before, thankfully, I have not seen it. I will not see it. If you look at these images, these pictures, these videos, they become part of you. They don't leave. And you don't want that. You want the good pictures in your mind. And you know, I was thinking, there's so many verses about this, but what I thought of when coming back to it is the Ten Commandments. In Exodus 20, it says, first commandment, number 1, I am the Lord your God, you shall have no other gods before me. And it made me wonder, why? Why do people post these pictures? I mean, the argument is, well, I'm allowed to. It's America, freedom of speech. Well, there's a saying, and it says just because you're allowed to, or just because you can, doesn't mean you should. And I thought, what benefit does it bring you or anybody else to see this, and then not only see it, but to share it with the world? And I disagree with a lot of my friends and colleagues who say, well, everyone should see this. Again, just because you can doesn't mean you should. And I don't understand why you want that picture and image in your head. And I thought, and that's why I kept coming back to Exodus 20, the first commandment. So, in Philippians chapter 4, it says, and therefore, it's about Christian life, whatsoever things are good, whatsoever things are right, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are of good report, whatever is excellent or praiseworthy, think on these things. You think on the goodness, the beauty, the right, the justice. You don't want to think on the death and the misery and the heartache. So why would people do this? I am not a psychologist. I am not a mental health professional. I'm not a counselor. And I wish I could explain why people do this. But one of the things that I kept coming back to is, I don't think it's about God, because I don't think God would want us to say, hey, look at this brutal scene. I don't think God wants us to say, hey, share out this misery and agony for others so you can make them miserable and fill them with agony. And maybe it's hate that some people have because they celebrate murder and death. I don't understand that for the life of me. But I go back to Exodus 20. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. And I think when we elevate ourselves above God, hands are in the way, I'll do it up here. When we elevate our, if we have God here and we elevate ourselves above God, what are we worshiping? We're built to worship. We worship something. And it almost seems like people worship themselves. I hate whatever it is about Charlie Kirk. Therefore, I am happy that someone executed the judgment that I believe he so deservedly has. The rest of that statement is, because I am God. Or, I am going to film this and put it out there because it'll get me lots of views or whatever it is. Because it's all about me. Or, I will watch this because, and I don't know why, I don't know the reasons why. I don't know why anyone would want to watch this. But because I know God says, fill your minds with beauty and right and justice and good and wonderful and excellent, praiseworthy things. But I want to do it because I know better than God. And that's why I keep coming back to Exodus 20. Number one commandment, I am the Lord your God, you shall have no other gods before me. And if we don't have God, or we forget God, who fills that place, that void? We do. And I wished I would have done this a week ago, but there's so much to say. I could have done one of these every day. But that's all I can come up with as to why people would, one, film it, two, share it, and then three, encourage other people to watch it. Or encourage yourself to watch it. I truly don't understand. And while I'm on that subject, the second thing I don't understand is why people celebrate and mock his death. There was a saying that was true for years. Do not speak ill of the dead. There's a reason we say that. Because it was true. Don't speak ill of the dead. But now somebody thought it's their right to share their feelings, thoughts about Charlie Kirk's death with the rest of the world. The only reason I can think as to why they celebrate murder or celebrate death is because God's here and they're elevating themselves above God. I'm the most important. I need to share what I think and believe. I need to be joyous in this. I mean, the good thing is I'm glad people are coming back to God and church and becoming bold in their faith. I think that's absolutely fantastic. But why do people celebrate the murder and the death? Why do they want to view it, record it? I really think it's because they see God here and put themselves up here. Because if you're living with God, for God, you can't do that. because you see a person. You see a wife, you see kids, you see friends, you see co-workers, you see students. You see the impact this has. And I know some of you may say, well, I have the right to do this. I'm not denying you the right to do this. But as I said earlier, just because you can doesn't mean you should. There was a cartoon I saw, and it talked about speaking ill of the dead, speaking ill of Charlie Kirk. And it said, well, in America, we have a First Amendment right, freedom of speech. I have a right to say these things. And the other person, which cartoon happened to be a woman, wise woman. And it said, and you also have the right to remain silent. If you can't say anything good, don't say anything at all. Don't speak ill of the dead. These sayings, like Proverbs, are there because they're kind of truisms in our society. So I hope you reflect on this, and I hope this gives you a little bit of understanding. It doesn't make sense to me. I can't explain it, but I wanted to address it because I think right now that's the best I can do. Honor the Lord your God, or I am the Lord your God. Don't have any other gods before me. And hope this helps. Guys, have a great weekend. Facebook, YouTube, Rumble at FL Compass Church, and now on Instagram at FL Compass Church. I'm Pastor Chris Ireland, and I pray that you have a blessed, peaceful, anxiety-free, I would say fun-filled weekend and time with family and friends. Be blessed. We'll see you Wednesday.